live streaming on YouTube. I've got a few private attorneys I'm going to call first, then the pro se folks, and we'll finish with Mr. Brashure. So starting with Mr. Fayette on Pierre, 20 CT 2217. Good morning. Is Mr. Fayette there, please?
Yes, one moment.
Okay, thanks.
The criminal justice system can be bewildering and frightening. At the Fayette firm, we know that favorable results in a criminal case are obtained by legal skills and hard work. We'll work with you to look at all the options in the case and develop a strategy to get the best result possible in plea bargains, pre-trial motions, or trial. Whether misdemeanor or felonies, no case is too big or too small. The Fayette firm has been helping clients in Florida for over 20 years. We're committed to giving you the most effective legal representation possible. Our aggressive but professional approach has served our clients well. For more...
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Fayette. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. We're back on a pretrial conference docket. You have Mason Pierre, 20 CT 2217. We have Miss Creamy on the phone as well.
Judge, I just got hired on that case. I'm going to request to continue to waive speedy trial. I did receive discovery, but I haven't reviewed it.
All right, Ms. Creamy, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Madam Clerk, will continue this to private counsel pretrial March 24th, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fayette. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, next is Mr. Clark on Edie Avilas, 20 mm 773. And then Mr. Bertaramo.
I don't think he's here yet.
Oh.
This is Ian Clark. May I help you?
Mr. Clark, Rob Crown here. How are you today?
Good. How are you today, Judge?
I am just fine, thank you. I'm in a pretrial conference docket. We have Miss Creamy on the phone for the state. And Mr. Clark, you've got two cases with us this morning, beginning with Edie Avilas.
Yes, Judge, Ms. Avilas, I received an offer for her. It's a trespass case. I need to convey that to her. Unfortunately, her number seems to have just gone out since the last time I spoke with her. So I would just ask for the next pre-trial conference. It should be resolved as soon as I can talk to her. If I don't talk to her, I'll let you know the next time, Judge. So we may have to have her come for a mandatory appearance.
Okay, with a waiver?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Creamy, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Edie Avilas, continue to pretrial conference docket March 25th, 9 o'clock. And Mr. Clark, your next case is Megan Dillon, 20 mm 1729.
Yeah, I received an offer on that case yesterday, Judge. She also has a case with the public defender's office. I don't know if the public defender is going to remain on that case or if they have had contact with her, because I have not been able to maintain any type of contact with her. So, at this point, I don't know if the public defender is also on the line. We can find out what they're doing with it.
They're not on the phone. Is the other Dillon case on this docket today?
Yes,
It is,
Judge.
Judge.
Let's see. I see that. Okay, that's 20 mm 1106. I don't know that. Actually, I can try and call Mr. Brashure. Just give me a second. Let's try to get him on the phone, okay?
Sure.
Mr. Brashure, Rob Crown here. How are you today?
How are you, Judge? Nice to hear from you.
You as well. Thank you. So we've got Ms. Karimi on the phone for the state. We also have Regional Counsel Ian Clark on the telephone. And we're calling you specifically about Megan Dillon. You have one case with Miss Dillon and Mr. Clark has the other. Mr. Clark just indicated that he has had no contact with her. What do you have to say about this case, Megan Dillon?
Yeah, I just sent in yesterday the conflicting out on Megan Dillon. I just put in the notice.
Have you been in touch with her?
I don't believe I have, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Creamy, what's the state's position?
Judge, I would ask for an in-person docket on both cases and her presence being required.
All right, Mr. Clark, do you have anything in response to that on your case with Ms. Dillon?
No, Judge. The only concern that I have is obviously I don't have the other case at this point. I haven't had any contact with her, so I understand that this may. It looks like I think her address has been a good address as far as I can see from the clerk's file. I don't think anything was returned as of late, so she should be getting that. I don't really have an objection, Judge. I'd ask for another pretrial conference, but it's obviously up to you.
All right, Mr. Persher, anything else from you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to set both cases on the plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. That's not a pretrial. Her appearance is mandatory. And Madam Clerk, again, these two cases with Megan Dillon, 20 mm 1106 and 20 mm 1729. And then Mr. Clark has one more case. Mr. Persher, I'd like you to stay on the line with us just another minute, please.
Yes, of course, Your Honor.
I've got it's Richardson, Judge.
Say it again, please.
I believe the last name is Richardson, 20 mm 2006.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Richardson currently has a violation of probation in felony court, Judge. I have been communicating with the other prosecutor on that case, and I did reach out with Ms. Creamy, and I have some answers for her that if I can contact her later on, I'll be able to get an offer in that case as well, so we can probably resolve both of them. So if we could have a continuance to the next pretrial conference.
All right, with a waiver?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Creamy, any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Richardson, 20 mm 2006 is continued to March 25th, pretrial 9 o'clock. Mr. Clark, I believe that's it for you.
I believe so as well, Judge. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. And I think, Mr. Persher, I've still got a few private attorneys and some pro se's to call, and I'm gonna ask you to stay on the phone when I call one of those pro se's, and then you can hang up. You'll have about a 5 or 10 minute break before I call you back. But I want to call Mr. Goforth while you're on the phone because he's got two cases as well. One is pro se, and you have the other. Dalton Goforth. And the pro se case is 20 mm 1475. Mr. Persher, your case is 20 CT 1798. So I want to get Mr. Goforth on the phone, and then we'll talk to him and to you, Mr. Persher, at the same time.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm on the 1798.
Goforth.
Right.
Yes, sir. 1798. 20 CT. All right.
Hello?
Hello, is this Mr. Goforth?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Goforth, this is Judge Crown calling from the courtroom. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. We have a prosecutor on the telephone as well. Mr. Goforth, you actually have two cases with me. On one of those cases, you have the public defender, and he is also on the telephone. Mr. Persher is the public defender. So we've got one case where Mr. Goforth does not have an attorney, and one case where he does, and that's the public defender. So, Mr. Goforth, I'm going to start with your lawyer, Mr. Persher, and then I'll come back to you in just a minute, okay?
All right.
Mr. Persher, what's the status with this case, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I would just ask for a continuance because I just haven't, this is a new case for me, so I just haven't had the time to sufficiently go over with the client what he would like to do, and plea or move forward to a court trial.
All right, with a waiver?
With the waiver, Your Honor.
Mr. Goforth, do you understand his request?
Yes, sir.
He's asking me.
That'd be good, because I haven't met him yet either. I thought it was a woman on the case.
And she just left the office, so he took over. So it is new
Oh,
for
wow.
him.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Mr. Goforth, I can't remember from the last time, on one of these cases you do not have the public defender. Why is that? Did you not apply?
I was thinking about getting a lawyer, but I don't know if I am anymore. I'll probably just end up getting I'm actually right in front of the courthouse. I'm actually going to get a public defender application right now. So.
Oh, great. Okay, very good. So you can do that, and then Mr. Persure can help you on both cases. So I think that's a good idea. So you agree with his suggestion of a continuance, right?
Yes, please.
Ms. Creamy, any objection to continuing both cases?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, both cases with Mr. Goforth are continued to the March 25th pretrial conference docket. That's 20 MM 1475 and 20 CT 1798. Okay, so Mr. Goforth, that's good. Come on in, apply for the public defender. You don't have to come see me this morning. Your case is resolved today. And then you and I will speak on the phone next time, March 25th, unless you have the public defender. If you actually come in and apply, then you don't need to speak to me. I'll speak to Mr. Persure only next time, okay?
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Goforth. Have a good day.
You too, sir.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Mr. Persure, I'm going to let you go. It's going to be no more than 10 minutes for me to make these other phone calls, and then I'll call you back, okay?
No problem, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, let's try Mr. Vitale. And he has Leslie Martella, 20 CT 2584.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Vitale. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, Judge. I want to apologize for yesterday. I'm not sure what technical problem we had. I never got a call, so
That's
and
okay.
I don't even have a missed call.
It's just going to cost you a lunch for Mr. Lucarelli.
He already told me that.
Yeah, good. No problem. It worked out fine. It ended up he had the co-defendant anyhow, so he was prepared to cover. So it worked out just fine. And today you've got Leslie Martella, 20 CT 2584. We have Miss Creamy on the phone as well.
Judge, this is a case that I just came on probably in the last 3 weeks that I asked for a continuance of the waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Martella is continued to the private counsel pretrial conference docket March 24th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vitale. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. And Miss Creamy, earlier, did you say Mr. Stewart's not in yet?
Just walked in, Judge.
I've got some pro se's to call if you want some time.
Yes, that might be best if you don't mind.
Okay. So let's start with actually, I've got some pro se's who just walked in, so I'm going to start with them. Sir in the blue shirt, you can just come on up. What is your name, please? Mr. Garcia. Felix Garcia, 20 CT 2531. Okay, thank you, Rich. You just applied for the PD? Yes, sir. Did they tell you that you qualify? Yes, sir. Okay, perfect. And I do see that application in the court file, Ms. Creamy. It does indicate indigent, so the public defender's appointed. And so what I think you want to do, Mr. Garcia, is ask me for another court date so your attorney has a chance to investigate your case and discuss it with you. Does that make sense to you? Yes, sir. All right, Ms. Creamy, do you have any objection to a continuance for Mr. Garcia?
No, Judge, but it might be a good idea for him to just go up to the PD's office and leave his name and number so Mr. Persure knows how to contact him.
Yeah, that is a good idea. So what she suggested is that I'm going to continue your case, first of all. Okay, so your next court date is March 25th at 9 o'clock. But you have a public defender now, Mr. Garcia, so you don't need to come back. Okay. On that date, I will talk to your public defender, not you. So you don't need to come in, you don't need to call. You do need to stay in touch with your public defender, okay? And what she just suggested, this is the prosecutor, by the way, on the telephone. her suggestion is a good one, that you, when you leave this courtroom, don't leave the courthouse. Go upstairs to the public defender's office and see if you can schedule an appointment with your public defender. Okay? Do you have any questions about that?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Good luck to you. All right. Ma'am, in the front row, what is your name, please? Frida. Okay, Frida DeQuino. Frida DeQuino Perez. Miss Karimi, this is 20 MM 1112. Okay, ma'am, do you have a lawyer?
No, sir, I don't. Actually, the reason why I came back to the States is that this is how I split my date and actually bring them up.
When you say they, did you sign up for diversion?
Yes, Judge. She, sorry. Did you turn the hours into Mr. Cruz already, or do you have a copy of them?
She's got paperwork with her.
Okay,
You want me to look at it?
well, because I have to have them verified. Judge, could we,
You want me to ask her to go see Mr. Cruz?
can we give her a new court date? If she can come up to my office, the lady at the front desk will make a copy of the hours and get them to me, and then I will verify them. If they check out, we'll drop the case, and she won't have to come back to that next week.
So when you say send her up to your office, you mean right now?
Yes, so if she can have a new court date and then send her up to the 6th floor.
Okay, so ma'am, let me explain what she just said to you, okay? I'm gonna give you another court date. Your case is now continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. So in just a minute, you're free to leave this courtroom, but don't leave the courthouse. Go upstairs to the state attorney's office. You might have to ask somebody where that is. And Ms. Creamy, does she ask for you, or just ask the person at the front to make a copy of the hours and give that to you?
Yes, the second one.
The second one. So when you get up there, speak to the person at the front desk and say, I've been directed to come up here and ask you to make a copy of these hours, whatever the paperwork is that you have, and give that to Miss Karimi. Will you remember that name? Karimi, 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 okay? And so you're not going to see Miss Karimi today, but you're going to ask the person at the front desk to give Miss Karimi a copy of whatever you have. Miss Karimi will then try to verify that. And if she verifies that before your next court date, she's going to drop the charge, in which case you will not have to come back, okay? You understand all that? Any questions? Okay, 325, you're free to go upstairs. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. Sir, what is your name, please? Antoine Perry, thank you. 20 CT 1611. Mr. Perry, I'm going to start with the same question to you. Do you have a lawyer? Okay, have you looked into exactly what you need to do to get your license? Okay, well, it sounds like you're on the right track, and that's a good thing. So do you understand that by continuing the case, you're waiving your right to a speedy trial? Ms. Karimi, it sounds like he's making progress. He knows what he needs to do. He's trying to get a driver's license, and he's asked for a continuance with a waiver. Do you have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Perry, your next court date is March 25th at 9 o'clock, and hopefully you'll have a new driver's license by then, okay? All right, you're free to go. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. No, sir. But you remember your... Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir, what is your name, please? Mr. Hedrick. Okay, Kent Hedrick. Miss Creamy is 20 CT 2590. Mr. Hedrick, do you have a lawyer? All right. So do you plan to get one, or are you working on a driver's license? What's the status?
No, working on getting my driver's license. The only issue I have is something with 2 holes in the state of Pennsylvania, and I've been unsuccessful in contact with the DMV. I'm trying to do it online and through automated system, but I'm having a lot of issues with that. I've actually written out 2 letters
right, so are you asking me for a continuance so that you have more time to do that? And you understand what I just explained is that you're waiving your right to a speedy trial by continuing the case? Ms. Creamy, sounds like he's on the right track as well. Do you have any objection to a continuance?
No, Your Honor, this is a newer case.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Hedrick, Mr. Hedrick, your next court date is also March 25th at 9 o'clock, okay? All right, you're free to go. Good luck to you.
Judge, Mr. Stewart's ready whenever you are.
All right, thank you. And I believe that's all of the pro se folks who showed up. I still have 3 pro ses who I'm going to call, but let's take advantage of Mr. Stewart while we have him.
Okay, I'm gonna conference with him right now.
All right, and I'll call Mr. Verderamo.
Judge, he's on the line.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Stewart.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, this is Jackie. How may I help you?
Good morning, Jackie. This is Rob Crown. How are you today?
Very well, Judge Crown. How are you?
I am just fine, thank you.
Good. One moment, and I'll transfer you.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Judge Crown.
Mr. Verderamo, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just fine, thank you. We have Mr. Stewart on the telephone as well. Your client is Eric Dersch.
Requesting a continuance of waiver.
Mr. Stewart, any objection?
No objection.
All right, Madam Clerk, we'll continue Dersch 20 mm 1744 to private counsel pretrial March 24th at 9 o'clock. All right, thank you, Mr. Verderamo.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Judge.
Well done again, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Consistent. All right, thank you. Ms. Cream, you still with us?
Oh, yes, Judge, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. So 3 more. I've got 3 more phone calls here. Let's start with Flowers. Destiny Flowers, 20 mm 1554.
Hello?
Hello, is this Destiny Flowers?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This is Judge Crown calling. How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
Good. I'm fine also. Thank you. We have a prosecutor on the telephone. Her name is Miss Karimi, and I'm in court on your case. This is 20 mm 1554. And I'm wondering, my first question to you, Miss Flowers, is do you have a lawyer?
No.
Do you plan to get one, or do you plan to handle this yourself?
I plan on getting one.
Okay, so my follow-up question to that is, when you say you plan to get one, do you plan to apply for a public defender or hire a private lawyer?
Hire a private lawyer.
Okay.
I had one previous, but it's just that due to fees, we had to break it up into not assign her to the full entirety of my case.
Okay.
Judge, she had Miss Orange only to set aside the bench warrant that was done by this court last month, and then as soon as the bench warrant was set aside, Miss Orange withdrew from the case.
Oh, okay. So, Miss Flowers, are you going to try to hire Mrs. Orange again or someone else?
Yes.
Mrs.
Yes, I'm actually going to hire her again to pick up on it. I was just now actually discussing with her how to get in touch with you this morning. She so kindly guided me, and she will reach out to me with the fees that I can get over to her so she can get back on everything for me.
Okay. So it sounds like, Ms. Flowers, what you want to do today is continue this case so that you have more time to work that out with Mrs. Orange.
Yes, I'm actually a little confused about everything. If you don't mind, I don't really know exactly what everything is or how everything is going to go.
Okay, when you say everything, do you know what the charges are?
Not really.
The charges are possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia. And this is based on an incident that occurred September 22nd, 2020.
All right. Okay, just to make it clear. All right. So what do you think that I should do in this case? Because I was even explaining the day of to the officer. I was with a girl
Well, don't talk to me about the facts
Yeah, I
of
don't
the
want to
case.
say anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just have a lawyer. Okay.
I think when you asked me what I think you should do, I think you should continue to work with Mrs. Orange and see if she's going to be able to represent you. And in order to do that, you need to continue the case today. I could give you another court date so that you have more time to work that out with her. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, that sounds great.
Okay. Ms. Creamy, do you have any objection to a continuance?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, Ms. Flowers' case 20MM 1554 is continued to pretrial March 25th at 9 o'clock. Ms. Flowers, if you actually hire Mrs. Orange before that date, then I will talk to her on that date, not to you. You don't need to call, or I won't call you. But if you do not hire her, then I will need to hear from you, okay?
Perfect. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good luck to you.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, next is Oscar Gutierrez, 20MM 1564. And then Saldana.
Hello?
Hello, is this Oscar Gutierrez?
Yes.
Good morning. This is Judge Crown calling from the courtroom. I've got a prosecutor on the telephone as well. You have case number 20MM 1564. Mr. Gutierrez, do you have a lawyer in this case?
No, I don't.
Do you plan to get one, or do you plan to handle this yourself?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, sir. Do you plan to get a lawyer or handle this yourself?
Yeah, I'll handle this myself. It's just, they just gave me some options, to go to some classes called diversion.
Okay. And are you interested in diversion?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably take diversion.
Ms. Creamy, is that still available to Mr. Gutierrez?
It is, Judge. The last time we had court, you spent a significant amount of time explaining diversion to him, and you asked him to sign up prior to today. So,
Mr. Gutierrez, why haven't you done that already?
Yeah, I'm just having some money problems right now, so I gotta kind of save up some money and then go to the classes.
Well, have you even made an appointment with Collier County Probation to talk about diversion?
No, I don't think so.
That's your first step. You've got to do that. So if you're still interested in diversion, then what that means is you are asking me for another continuance. Is that right?
I guess.
Well, let me explain the alternatives. It sounds like you want to continue this case. I would give you another court date so you would have more time to sign up for diversion. If you don't want to do that, then we could set this on a plea docket and you could come to court and enter a plea and resolve your case, or we could set it for trial. Those are your options.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do the diversion, I guess.
You have to do it though, Mr. Gutierrez. You can't just talk about it and think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Ms. Creamy, any objection to a continuance?
No, Judge. He'll just need to come to county probation to sign up for diversion.
Right, and don't do that the day before the court date. Do it at least 2 weeks before the court date.
All right. Oh, okay.
All right, so Mr. Gutierrez, your next court date is March 25th at 9 o'clock, and hopefully by then you can tell me you're in diversion, okay?
Okay, and who do I have to call to the probation officers?
You're going to call Collier County Probation.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, thank you, sir. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Yeah, thank you, man.
All right. Yes, sir.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Rich, is that another pro se outside? Ah, okay. Okay, next is Eduardo Saldana, 20MM 2103.
Hello?
Hello, is this Eduardo Saldana?
Yeah, I am, sir.
Mr. Saldana, this is Judge Crown calling from the courtroom. I've got a prosecutor on the telephone as well. This is case number 20MM2103. Do you have a lawyer, Mr. Saldana?
No, sir, I don't have a lawyer.
Do you plan to get one, or do you plan to handle this yourself?
Well, I would like to have one because, there's nothing wrong. I did it,
Okay, so when you say you plan to get one, do you plan to apply for the public defender or hire a private lawyer?
Can I give you my son? He can explain you.
Can you give me who?
My son?
Sure.
You might need an
Yeah.
My son, he's here with me.
Okay.
He's smart. He can help me.
I'll talk to him, sure.
All right. Hello?
Hello, who is this?
This is Andres. It's Eduardo's son.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. And so are you going to translate English to Spanish?
I could translate. Could I also tell you what it is that happened that day?
Nope. I don't want to know about the facts of the case. We're not here for a trial. I'm just here to basically find out what your father plans to do. So let me explain his options to you, and then you can explain them to him, okay?
Okay.
He can, basically, we're either going to continue this case to another court date, or we're going to set it on a plea docket if he wants to enter a plea and resolve the case, or we're going to set it for trial. So it's either a continuance, a plea, or a trial. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Now, I think at the beginning of this phone call, I think your father told me he wants to get a lawyer. Do you know if that's what he wants to do?
He does.
Okay, so then I asked your father whether he plans to apply for the public defender or hire a private lawyer. Do you know the answer to that question?
¿Quieres uno de los que te apuntan ahí o quieres conseguir? I think he wants one of the court appointed.
Okay, the public defender.
Yeah,
So
public defender.
what that means is your dad needs to continue the case today. Now, his next court date would be March 25th. And then before that day, he needs to come into the courthouse to fill out an application for the public defender. Can you explain that to him?
Si quieres continuar con un abogado, que vas a tener que esperar otra vez hasta marzo 25. Hasta el 25 de marzo. He agreed with that.
So just in that, okay, so the next, Ms. Creamy, any objection to a continuance?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, Mr. Saldana's case 20MM2103 is continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. And sir, before we end the phone call, I just want you to make sure your father understands, you can do this after we're done, that the public defender does not happen automatically. He has to come into the courthouse and fill out a piece of paper. Okay, the courthouse is open. He is allowed to come in and do that, and he should do that either today, tomorrow, or next week. Don't wait any longer than that, so that he can make sure he has his lawyer before the next court date. Okay?
Okay. And do we call the public defender, or do we go to?
Yes. What you should do is come in through the front doors of the courthouse, and you'll have to ask somebody, where do I go to apply for the public defender? And if you're able to, it would be helpful if you come with your father so that you can help translate, okay? And ask somebody, where do we go to apply for the public defender? And it's a quick process, 10 minutes. You're going to fill out a form. They're going to tell you whether your father qualifies or not. And then immediately after that, you would go upstairs to the public defender's office. So that's how you'll make contact with the public defender.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
No, that's all.
All right. Well, thank you for your help, and tell your father thank you as well. And so again, his next court date, March 25th at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay. Let's call Mr. Pashore.
have reached Mark Bashore at the Public Defender's Office. Please leave your name, phone.
Well, let me check with, while we wait, we'll give Mr. Brasher a couple more minutes and I'll call him back. In the meantime, I'll contact my office to see if any other pro se folks have been in touch this morning. No one else has been in touch with Andrea. I know that we've got 3 or 4 other pro se folks that will address those. Maybe FTAs will address those at the end of the docket.
Mark Bashir, Public Defender's Office.
Mr. Brasher, Rob Crown again.
Judge, I'm sorry, I was listening on YouTube, but I forgot there's a delay. I apologize.
That's okay. No problem. So let's we'll go down to your cases alphabetically. Mr. Brasher, your first one is Michael Adams, 20 CT 1559.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for continuance because he's willing to take the plea. He's just trying to sell his truck so he has money to pay for all the fines and fees.
Did he give you a time?
He's in the middle of a divorce, so if there's any way to put a continuance on so he can sell his truck and get financially set.
With a waiver?
With a waiver, Your Honor.
Ms. Karimi, any objection to a continuance?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so the next court date for Adams is March 25th, 9 o'clock pretrial. Robert Alonzo, 20 CT 556.
Yes, I would ask for continuance. He's sending me medical records and a medical letter, so I need to look into what's going on with his health before I can adequately represent him.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Alonzo is continued to pretrial March 25th, 9 o'clock. Orlando Alvarez Sanchez.
Yes, Your Honor. He's most likely to plead. I just think he's misunderstanding what withhold means, so I just need a continuance to explain to him, and then I think I'm just going to put him on a plea docket because he seems pretty agreeable to the plea.
I would prefer to go ahead and put him on a plea docket. I think that sounds like a pretty straightforward conversation. Let's try a plea date instead, okay. And if he still doesn't understand, then I would entertain a motion for a continuance if you think you need more time.
I think it's just an explanation, and I think he'll understand it, and probably most likely he'll take the plea.
All right, so let's. I'll take the latest of my 4 plea dates just so he has more time to think about it. We'll put Orlando Alvarez Sanchez on the plea docket March 10th at 10 o'clock. Carrie Antoine, 19mm 1070.
So I spoke to him, Your Honor, and he's trying to finish up diversion. I know that he has not completed it, but he really just has like 16 hours left to do. So I would ask for a continuance just to give him a little time so he can just finish up diversion and resolve the case.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a 2019 case. He's been trying to do these hours for quite some time, so I would ask to put it on a plea docket, and he can resolve his case at that time, or at least get his hours done.
Mr. Brasher, do you know whether he's made any progress on the community service hours before since his last court date?
What does the state know how much community hours he had to do? What was the number? Because he told me he has like 16 hours left.
Right, that's what he has left in January.
Okay, so the total was 16?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I told him to get it done as quickly as he can and to get back to me. So I'm just trying to ask for continuance to give him time to do it, but I do understand that this is a long case. It's just new to me, that's all.
Okay, so what we're going to do is put Mr. Antoine on the plea docket March 10th at 10 o'clock. He can either resolve his case then, or he can come in hopefully and tell us that everything's been done, or we can set it for trial on April the 5th. But we'll make some progress on March 10th.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Carl Atkins, 20 CT 2506.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a continuance. This is a new case to me as well, and so I need some time to talk to my client and research what he wants to do, just so I can give him proficient representation.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Atkins is continued to pretrial March 25th, 9 o'clock. Ane Baez, 20 mm 865.
Honor, yes, this, I would ask for a continuance. I need to, communicate to my client. I haven't had enough time to go over a case. So to proficiently represent her, I would ask for a continuance.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Baez is continued to pretrial 3/25 at 9 o'clock. Orville Benjamin, 19 CT 2948.
Yes, Your Honor. This is also a new case. I need to talk to my client and relay the plea offer. I want to go over some things with him so he understands completely what he's getting into. So I just ask for continuance so I can properly represent him.
With a waiver. With a waiver. Any objection?
Yes, Judge, this is a 2019 case. The last time we were up, I understand Mr. Brasher is new, but the last time we were in court, Ms. Hall stated that she was ready for trial.
Is the only thing you need to do is Mr. Brasher is convey the offer and discuss that with him?
I would really like to just discuss his options and what he wants to do. I just want to adequately represent him and not just push him into trial without really talking to him enough about what's going on.
All right, so we'll set him on the plea docket March 10th at 10 o'clock. I know that's not necessarily set for a plea, but it's an interim step. If we're not able to resolve it then we can set it for trial in April.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Next case is Gabriel Bernabe, 19 mm 2081.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a continuance so I can go over the plea offer with him. He has been in contact with the office, but some of my clients are still emailing Ashley and think Ashley is still their PD. So there's been some miscommunication and confusion about who they need to talk to. So I just ask for a continuance so I can properly represent my client.
Any objection?
No, Judge, but Ms. Hall stated last time that she wanted to file a new competency evaluation motion. I don't know if Mr. Brasher was aware of that. Wanted to make him aware.
All right.
I was not aware, but I am now.
All right, so in the meantime, Mr. Bernabe is continued to pretrial March 25th, 9 o'clock. Donald Bertha, 20 mm 1910.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a continuance. I need to discuss further with this client his case. He still has some issues that he wants to talk about, and he was also he's been passed along. I'm the third lawyer he's had. He's saying to me that he's not comfortable with my representation until we fully set up the case. So I would ask for a continuance.
You've actually met with him, or you discussed it?
I have not. It's been very brief, and that's he wants to just discuss it more. He's just uncomfortable with having a third lawyer going forward at this point. I would ask for a continuance.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bertha is continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. Next case is Mary Bolino, 20 mm 29.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand this is an ongoing case and it's been long too. She tried to sign up for diversion yesterday. She had a problem with her debit card, and Mr. Cruz, the earliest appointment he could make with her was Monday, but she wants to take diversion. She's ready and willing to sign up. She just signed up for the next available date, which I believe is Monday at 2 p.m.
So a continuance with a waiver.
Continuance with a waiver, Your Honor, so she can sign up for diversion.
Any objection?
Judge, I'd have to put this on the March 10 date.
Do you think she'll be in diversion by then?
She's explained to me Monday is when she's signing up. I believe she will be.
All right, so I'm going to come close to that, Ms. Creamy. We'll set this for the plea date on March 8th at 10 o'clock. If she's in diversion, of course, she'll fall off the docket by then.
That's fine, Judge.
All right, so Bolino, March 8th at 10 o'clock. Justice Cologne, 20 mm 1406.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask for a continuance, just so I could discuss the plea with him. I've had contact with him, but he thought I was acting assistant, so he hasn't really been getting back to me. He's been confused about getting a new lawyer. So I just want to make sure he understands what his plea is and get him set and ready. So I would ask for a continuance.
With a waiver? Objection? Justice Cologne is continued to 325 at 9 o'clock. Sade Cologne, 19 CT 2863.
Yes, Your Honor. This is another one I need to go over the plea with. The plea looks very agreeable, so I think he might take it, but I just need to communicate to him and make sure that he understands what he's getting into. So I would ask for a continuance if I can have one with a waiver.
Okay, Ms. Creamy, what do you say about that?
I would object, Judge. I'd ask to set it on a few days.
Yeah, this case is very old as well. I think it involves maybe at least one prior FTA, driving on a suspended license. I'm going to set this one on the plea docket March 8th at 10 o'clock. That'll give you time to discuss the plea offer with her and her options. Of course, she doesn't have to take it. We can always set it for trial, but we've got to get this one moving. So, Sade Cologne, 19 CT 2863, is set on the plea docket 3/8 at 10 o'clock. Melissa Cook, 20 mm 56.
Yes, Your Honor. She's in custody, and she needs to fill out another application because she has another charge. And I've already emailed the state, and they would like to resolve these both at once. So I'm just waiting to get her application in so I can represent her on both cases. So a continuance with the waiver here.
Any objection?
Your Honor.
Cook is continued to 325 at 9 o'clock. Kristen Curry, 20 mm 1800.
So, Your Honor, I would ask for continuance because there's in my notes from prior attorneys that come to my attention the defendant might have mental issues. So I need more time to figure out what's best for my client, see if she actually has mental issues. Alternate.
So
continuance with the waiver.
Any objection?
Your Honor, my notes indicate the same thing.
All right, Curry is continued to 325 at 9 o'clock. Jessica Dable, 21 mm 47.
Yes, Your Honor. I emailed the state. She's ready to take the plea. I was going to try to see if I could get her on the 215. I believe it's time served, and it would result in her release.
No, she's in custody.
Yes, she's in custody. Yes.
All right. Would you like to try that this afternoon at 2:15?
I would. I can still put in the request, or you can do it.
I'm happy to set her on 2:15. Ms. Creamy, any objection? Madam Clerk, Jessica Dable, 21 mm 47. Let's add that to the 2:15 docket this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you. Keith Dalby, 20 CT 1183.
Yes, Your Honor. This is another one who has been constantly emailing Ashley, and he did not understand that a new lawyer is taking over his case. So I would ask for continuance so I can properly represent him.
With a waiver?
Waiver, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Well, Judge, has Mr. Brasher had contact himself with this defendant?
I have not had contact, but I know he's been trying to get in touch. I just haven't had a chance to contact him back yet. That's my understanding, and so I'm trying to see if I can speak to him personally.
But the last time Ms. Hall stated that she had a hard time reaching him, the number that she was calling she was being told that it was his number, but he wasn't home, and they requested an in-person date, and it was continued to today. So given these communication issues, I would ask for another in-person date.
Let's set this for an in-person docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. That will at least enable you, Mr. Brasher, to make contact with your client. And if you need to continue it at that point, I'm open to that possibility, but we need to at least facilitate contact between you and Mr. Dalby.
Okay. I was told that he had made contact, but I will double check on that, and I will, if not, then I will get my investigator on and locate him.
All right, thank you. So Dalby, March 1st at 10 o'clock.
And is his presence required?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maria Damaso, 19 CT 2691.
I would ask for continuance, Your Honor. I I haven't had time to properly let my client know what the plea offer is, and I just need to so I can properly represent it.
With a waiver?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection? Have you had any contact with Ms. Damaso?
Not as of yet, Your Honor.
Do you know whether...
One of the cases that I need to look into, and I just don't feel like I can represent her properly without speaking to her.
Can you tell...
It's not that she hasn't been in touch. I have notes, I believe that.
That was my next question. Can you tell in your notes whether she was ever in touch with Ms. Hall?
Yeah, let me look here.
Judge, I would ask to set this for trial. This is a 2019 case. The last time Ms. Hall stated she was ready, and
You have a note that Ms. Hall said that?
Let me.
Ms. Karimi, you show that Ms. Hall announced ready for trial?
oh yes, Judge, Ms. Hall announced ready on a lot of cases last month, and I wrote them down.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, let me just double check that. She is also one who is sending her medical records from a couple of doctors, so I'm waiting on to get those reports. That's why I'm also the reason I'm asking for continuance, because I wanted to see what's going on with her health issues.
All right, well, what we're going to do with Ms. Damaso, this is a 2019 case, is we're going to set her on a plea/status docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. Her appearance is required. She'll have an opportunity to either resolve her case by way of a plea, or we can certainly set the case for trial. Your predecessor has announced ready for trial, and that trial would then go to the April 5th trial date. So in the meantime, Damaso is set on that March 1st docket, 10 o'clock, and her presence is required. Next, with Mr. Prashur, is Kimberly Dampier, 20 mm 1385.
Yes, Your Honor. This is an ask for a continuance. This is a new case for me, and I haven't contacted her. Not that she hasn't contacted her. I haven't contacted her about the plea.
Any objection?
No, Judge, it looks like the PD was just appointed the last pre-trial conference.
Dampier is continued to March 25th, 9 o'clock. Clay Daniels, 20 CT 2032.
Yes, Your Honor. This is one that I think he would be applicable to the plea. We can set it for a plea date, and if for some reason he changes, I can certainly change it. I would ask for a continuance, but if you want to set a plea date, I know.
All right, let's set Mr. Daniels for the plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. Ryan Dersh, 20 CT 2356.
Your Honor, this was the case the state did a motion to revoke bond on Tuesday. He wasn't present. I sent the order. So there's an active warrant out for his arrest. I forgot to ask the court to have this case marked as inactive until he is arrested on that warrant.
I do see an order revoking bond. All right, so Madam Clerk, we can take this one off the docket. There's a pending warrant for his arrest.
Okay.
All right. So he's removed, inactive, pending execution of that warrant. Okay, Mr. Prashur, you have Jose Domingo Aguilar, 20 mm 1229.
Yes, Your Honor. This is another new case to me. I would ask for a continuance with a waiver so I can properly talk to my client. It's not that he hasn't been in touch with us. It's I have yet to talk to him. So it's on me.
Any objection? Sure.
So he's in custody and the offer is time served. I'd ask to set it on a plea docket.
You could do that.
Do you want to try tomorrow? We've got jail arraignments in the morning.
I think he'll need 24 hours to arrange a conference with him, Judge.
Well, that's what I was thinking about.
24 hours notice to talk to people in the jail.
So 24 hours. So you're saying they wouldn't put him on the 9 o'clock docket for tomorrow?
Well, they could, but Mr. Prashur wouldn't be able to talk to his client because that's less than 24 hours.
If the offer is time served, I would think I can talk to him at the 2:15 docket or tomorrow at arraignment.
Do you prefer to add him to the 215 today?
I think so, and then I can ask him right then and there if he's willing to take the offer. Is that the whole offer, time served, or is it court costs?
Well, there's always costs, so it would be probably an adjudication cost and time served.
No contact with the victim and order and reserve on restitution.
Okay, if they could just email me the offer just so I have it, so I think he'll take it.
All right, so Madam Clerk, let's set Domingo Aguilar on the 215 docket this afternoon, please.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Aaron Elliott, 20 mm 1145.
Yes, Your Honor. This is I need a continuance so I can properly represent my client. I get the contact to talk to him. So, and I also have not asked what the plea offer is for as well. I want to do that in relation to the decision. That's for continuance.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Elliott is continued to 325 pretrial. Sean Flood, 20 mm 1669.
Yes, Your Honor. This is another one that I need to find out what the offer for the plea is so I can relate it to my client. And I would ask for a continuance to the waiver so I can talk to him and see what his position is.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor, he was just appointed last month.
Flood is continued to 325 pretrial. Andres Garcia Tobin, 20 CT 2421.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe this gentleman is out of the country at this right now, but he wants to comply and he wants to do the right thing. He's willing to take the plea. I'm just looking into how he could do probation and satisfy the plea by going along with it. But he's indicated. I talked to his sister. He's indicated that he wants to do the right thing and he wants to make sure that he properly does everything so he can fulfill the obligations that he's doing. So I would ask for a continuance just so I can look into it and make sure that he can do all the things that need to be done, or to negotiate some other deal with the state so that he can accomplish the plea offer that they.
All right, so the request is continuance with a waiver. Ms. Karimi, any objection? All right, Garcia Tobin is continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock pretrial. Irvin Garcia, 20 mm 1200.
Yes, Your Honor. I need to talk to this gentleman. I need to get a plea so I can properly represent him. I would think he would probably be applicable to the plea, but I just need a continuance waiver just to discuss it with him before we go forward.
Ms.
At the last court date, it was set for a plea February 8th. His presence was required. He did not appear, and the state requested a bench warrant, which was denied.
All right, let's set Mr. Garcia for a plea on March 1st at 10 o'clock. His appearance is mandatory, and if he's not interested in the plea offer at that time, then we'll set it for trial. That's Irvin Garcia, 20 mm 1200. Lauren Green, 20 mm 150.
Yes, Your Honor. I have had contact with the client. She wanted to get back to me about if she's going to take the plea, so I just need a continuance so I can make sure she understands the plea arrangements and what she needs to do. So I would ask for a continuance waiver just so I can properly relate it to make sure she understands.
Ms. Karimi?
You have to set it for a plea, Judge. This is a fairly older case.
I think you can convey that plea offer to her before the next plea docket. We'll go to March 3rd at 10 o'clock for a plea. March 3rd at 10 o'clock for Green. Samuel Guerrero, 20 mm 1529.
Yes, Your Honor. I have a plea offer, and I want you to relate to my client. I just haven't had the time. This is a new case for me. So I would just ask for a continuance with a waiver so I can relate to the offer.
We'll set Mr. Guerrero for a plea on the same date, March 3rd at 10 o'clock. Mustafa Hamrouni, 19 mm 2158.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a continuance. Once again, I have a plea offer for him, and I want to make sure he understands it. Plea offer seems very agreeable, so I just wanted to continue it so I can properly convey it to him. Like I said, this is a new case for me as well, so I just want to make sure I have all the information.
Pam Rooney is set on the plea docket March 3rd at 10 o'clock. Travis Hogsett, 20mm, 1604. Mr. Brasher?
Yes, Your Honor.
Travis,
I didn't hear you.
Travis Hogsett.
Sorry?
Travis Hogsett.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask for a continuance. The plea looks agreeable. I just want to discuss it so he understands all the ramifications of it. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
No, she has pending felony DOPs. I think this is one of the bases of that violation.
All right, so any objection to the continuance?
No, Judge.
All right, Mr. Hogsett is continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. Stanley Houston, 19mm, 1934.
Yes, Your Honor. He's set to take the plea. We received the amended offer from the state, so we can just set him for a plea date.
Okay.
That's all I need. He's prepared to take the plea.
All right, let's set Stanley Houston on the plea docket March 3rd at 10 o'clock. Dylan Jacobs Price, 19mm, 2185.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a case that I still need some time with. I would ask for continuance if this is on it. Continuance with a waiver.
State?
We would object, Judge. It's a 2019 case. The call announced ready last month.
I understand that it's an old case, but it's new to me, Judge.
All right, well, I'm going to set this on the plea docket March 3rd at 10 o'clock. That'll give you some time to get up to speed on the case. I see that the charge is a battery, and then we can either resolve it on that date or we can set it for trial. And the trial's not till April the 5th, so that's almost 6 weeks away. So that'll give you time to get up to speed if necessary, or we can resolve it.
Was that March 3rd, Your Honor?
March 3rd at 10 o'clock for Jacobs Price.
Okay, March 3rd?
Yes, sir. Michael Jones, 19mm, 2474.
Yes, Your Honor. I got a plea from the state. I just need to confer with my client. I need some more time with this.
You're fading out on us, Mr. Prashur. I could hear you at the beginning.
Sorry, Your Honor. I don't think my phone's very good. A continuance with the waiver, Your Honor.
And you said you received a plea offer. You just need to review it with your client.
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's set this for the plea docket on March 1st at 10 o'clock. And if that's enough time, great. We'll resolve it then. If you need more time, you can ask. We'll discuss it on that day.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Michael Jones, Madam Clerk, is set on the plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Charles Joseph, 20 CT 1647.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a new case to me as well. I would ask for a continuance. I do have a plea offer from the state, and I would like to go over with my client so he understands what the plea offer is, and make sure he understands all that he needs to do for it. So a continuance with the waiver, if I could.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge. He's been in custody since December when the court revoked his bond.
He has been in custody since September?
December 21st. And we did a motion to revoke bond based on Silverlink violation.
Okay, and Mr. Prashur is asking for a continuance, and your objection is based on that?
Yes, Judge. And his call announced ready last time as well.
All right. Mr. Prashur, your request is granted over objection. We'll continue Mr. Joseph to March 25th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Trey Key, 20mm, 1626.
Yes, Your Honor. I've had contact with this with my client, and I've talked to him about the plea. So I think he would be agreeable to it. I would ask for a continuance, but I think we can set a plea date if you don't want to set a continuance.
I'd like to try. So let's set Key on the plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kevin Koronowski, 20mm, 448.
Yes, Your Honor. This is I need some time on this case. This is a new case to me as well. I just haven't had adequate time to look into it and research it. And I do have a plea offer from the state, So I also need time to relay that. So I'd ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, this is an older case.
I understand. It's new to me, and he's got several charges, so I just want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence, Your Honor.
Has an offer been conveyed?
I have not conveyed the offer to him yet. I recently got it, and it's a long offer, so I want to make sure to go through everything so he understands what's going on.
All right, Koronoski will be continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. Your next case is Tabitha Lorenville, 19 CT 2578.
Yes, I haven't gotten an offer yet, but it's not the state's fault. It's my fault for not asking sooner. I've just this is a new case, and I just need to get to it. So I just want a continuance if I could, so I can do the proper due diligence on this case for my client, Your Honor.
What do you have left to do?
I need an offer. I need to just get an offer, and it's a driving while license suspended, second or more. So I just wanted to see what the offer is, so I can relay it to my clients and see what they would like to do, if they want to take the plea or they want to move forward.
State?
I'm checking her. My recollection is Ms. Hall said that this defendant calls her every month about the progress on her driver's license.
Okay.
So I don't have an objection to it.
All right, Lorenville is continued to March 25th at 9 o'clock. Jared Lawson, 20 CT 605.
Yes, Your Honor. I have not yet relayed the offer to this client. I would just like to continuance so I can speak to him about the offer, see what he wants to do. Like I said, this is another new case for me. So a continuance with the waiver if I could, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Judge, we're coming up on a year on this case. Ms. Hall asked ready last month.
All right, so we'll continue Lawson to March 25th at 9 o'clock, but no further continuances.
Yes, Your Honor.
Irely Ledesma.
Yes, Your Honor. I need a continuance, requesting a continuance with a waiver. I haven't time to thoroughly talk to my client. I need to get in touch with him so I can relay the offer and go over it. So continuance with a waiver.
But you have the offer?
I do have the offer from the state, Your Honor.
State?
Judge, this is 2019 case. I would object.
We'll set Mr. Ledesma's case, 19MM 2252, on the plea docket March 8th at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Joseph Mancha, 21MM 20.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a new case as well. I have not been able to properly research or talk to my client, and I need to get an offer from the state as well. So I just asked for a continuance so I can get all that lined up so I can talk to my client and see what he wishes to do.
Any objection?
Continuance with the waiver, Your Honor.
All right.
No, Judge, I think he's got a pending felony DOP.
Mancha is continued to 325, 9 o'clock. Romero Martinez Domingo, 2 cases, 20MM 580. That's with Mr. Prashore. He's also pro se in 20 CT 2087.
Right. I would just ask for a continuance so we can try to resolve both these cases. I do have pleas from the state on both of them. They look agreeable. So I think that he would be agreeable to them, but I just want to make sure. So I would first ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Have you received offers in both cases?
I have for 20M 580, and then I have 20 CT 2087. Is that a different case that you have?
Yeah, and he's pro se in 2087, but you've received an offer in both?
I have an offer for yes, both cases, the RAWOV and the no valid driver's license.
Okay, and so the request is for a continuance with a waiver in both?
Yes, Your Honor, just so I can go over and make sure he understands the offer and see what he wants to do.
Any objection?
Judge, he's currently in custody on the CT case because he benchmarked it.
Okay. Well, so Mr. Prashore, your request remains the same.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, it's the offer for the first is withhold court costs all costs, and the other one is time served, court costs. If you want, we could probably put him on the 215, and I think he would agree to it.
Well, it's not what I want. It's what you want.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I believe that if I have a moment to just confer with my client on the 215 docket, he would be agreeable to this plea.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, can we set both cases for Mr. Martinez Domingo on the plea docket today, 215?
No problem.
All right. Thank you. Tommy Matthias, 2 cases, 20 mm 2097, 20 mm 1714.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm looking into this because Ashley left me notes that there's a possible conflict, so I would just need a continuance so I can determine whether there is a conflict or not.
With a waiver in both?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection? Both cases continue to 325 pre-trial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Donald Michel, 20 CT 18.
I would ask for continuance. If not granted, the plea is agreeable, and we most likely, I believe my client would take it.
All right, so let's set Mr. Michel for a plea docket on March 8th at 10 o'clock.
No absence present be required. He was set for a plea earlier this month and failed to appear.
Well, it is required unless they file plea in absentia paperwork. I would accept a plea in absentia, otherwise it is required.
Okay, and the date, Judge, I'm sorry.
3/8. Okay. Pamela Moore, 19 mm 1785.
Yes, Pamela Moore, I would just ask for a continuance, Your Honor. I need to discuss the case further with my client. I also need to ask for a plea offer. It's not the state, it's me. And I would just ask for a continuance with a waiver so I can properly represent my client.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, it's 2019 case.
Has an offer been conveyed?
I don't think I've asked the state yet for an offer. If they want to give me one now, I'll write it down and try to convey it to my client.
I will email one.
Okay, thank you.
In the meantime, this is a 2019 case, we'll set Ms. Moore on that plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock for either a plea, or we can then go to set it for trial on April the 5th, so that would be nearly 5 weeks later. So that would be plenty of time to convey the offer, discuss the offer, and plan for trial if necessary. So Moore, 3/1, 10 o'clock. Next is Ramiro Morales, two cases, 20 CT 2596, 20 mm 2116.
Yes, Your Honor, this is also a new case for me, so I haven't had time to fully research it and do my due diligence, so I'd ask for a continuance so I can do what I need to do, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Your Honor, it's first time up.
That's with a waiver in both?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Madam Clerk, both cases for Morales continue to March 25th pre-trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Benjamin Orison, 19 CT 2159.
Yes, Your Honor. Check my notes. Yes, Your Honor. I need to discuss the plea with the state. He wanted to see if he could amend some things. I would ask for a continuance just because, as I said, this is new, and this client has also been emailing Ashley, and he hasn't been getting a response. So I haven't had time to properly talk to him, discuss what's going on. So I would ask for a continuance of the waiver so I can do my due diligence with my client, please.
Ms. Karimi?
No, just the 2019 case.
We're going to set Mr. Orison on that plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. If you're unable to work it out by then, we can go to trial April the 5th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jose Pantoa Vargas, 20 CT 2542.
Yes, Your Honor. This is also a new case, and I would ask for a continuance. I haven't had time to properly get an offer and talk to my client. So I would ask for continuance with the waiver so I can properly inform him what he needs to do.
Any objection?
Judge, I'm sorry. Just a minute.
Okay.
No, Judge, I don't have an objection.
All right. Pantoa Vargas continued to pretrial 325. Adolph Perez, 2 cases, 20 mm 1847, 20 mm
Yes, Your Honor. My client is prepared to take the plea, so I believe we can set a plea date for this.
All right, Madam Clerk, we'll set both cases for Mr. Perez on that plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. And next you have Gladys Perez, 20 CT 1097.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is prepared to take the plea, so we can set her on the plea docket.
Gladys Perez is also set on that plea docket March 1st at 10 o'clock. Oscar Perez, 20 MM 1381.
Yes, Your Honor. The state has sent me an offer. I believe it's agreeable. So I just need to convey it to my client so he knows what he has to do. So I would ask for a continuance.
Well, let's set Oscar Perez on a plea docket March 3rd and see if that's enough time for you to convey that offer and discuss it with your client.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Oscar Perez, 3-3, 10 o'clock. All right, you have three cases with Christopher Peterson, 20 MM 1107, 20 CT 2007, and 20 MM 1727.
Yes, Your Honor. I need to talk to this client. Previously, it was under conflict request, but because of Megan Dillon, that I conflicted off. There now is no conflict, I believe. I do want to double check that, but also I would just ask for a continuance so I can talk to him and relay the state's offer, so I can do my due diligence to make sure that he understands everything that he has to accomplish in order to satisfy the plea offer. So I will ask for a continuance with a waiver.
In all three cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Madam Clerk, all three cases with Peterson are continued to 325 pretrial conference.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Persure has Santiago Ramirez, 20 MM 1206.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for continuance, but the state has sent an agreeable plea offer. So I just want to convey it and make sure he understands what the plea offer is, so he knows, unless he wants to move forward. But it is an agreeable plea offer as well, Your Honor. So I would ask for continuance with a waiver.
Well, let's set Mr. Ramirez on the plea docket March 3rd at 10 o'clock. Samuel Ramos.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's fine, Judge. Never mind.
Okay. Samuel Ramos Carrillo, 20 CT 2199.
Yes, Your Honor. I need to ask for a continuance with a waiver to probably discuss this case and look further into it. I do have an offer from the state, but I have not yet to convey it with him. It's not his fault; it's my fault. I just need a little more time so I can set this up.
State.
So continuance with a waiver.
We're still waiting on some more information ourselves.
All right, Ramos Carrillo is continued to March 25th pretrial. Ediberto Sanchez, 20 MM 1997.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a new case to me. I do have an offer from the state, but I just need a little more time so I can talk to my client about the offer and see what he wishes to do. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
State.
No objection. It's the first time up.
All right, Ediberto Sanchez continued to 325 pretrial. Yadira Sanchez, 20 CT 813.
Yes, Your Honor. This is another case that's new to me, and I believe she's been emailing Ashley, so I just need some more time to talk to her and to look into the case as well. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge. This is an older case.
Has an offer been conveyed?
I have not yet been able to convey the offer. I understand that some people are having trouble getting in touch with me. They don't realize they have a new lawyer, and that's what I believe is going on with this case.
But do you have the offer from the state?
I have the offer from the state, yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's set this on the plea docket March 10th at 10 o'clock. That's really a plea/status docket.
Okay.
And we may resolve it then. If you still need more time, then we can always go to that trial docket 4-5. And so that gives you, March 10th is a good 3 weeks from now, and then the trial docket is 3 weeks after that. So that gives you another 6 weeks to either resolve it or prepare for trial. So Yadira Sanchez, 310 at 10 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next is Matthew Sanger, 20 MM 1546.
Yes, Your Honor. I haven't gotten a plea offer yet, but that's not the state's fault. That's my fault. This is a case that I've also need some more time on to research and talk to my client about. So I ask for a continuance with the waiver.
State.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sanger, continued to March 25th, 9 o'clock. Charles Scribner, 20 CT1.
Yes, Your Honor. I do have a plea offer from the state. I have yet to discuss it with my client. I would ask for continuance. I would just like to look a little bit into this before I relay the offer. So I would just ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Our first CT case of 2020.
Yes, I would object.
So like I said, it's new to me.
Yeah, and I understand that. So I'll give you 3 weeks before the next court date. That'll be March 10th at 10 o'clock for a plea/status docket. Again, if we're not able to work it out, we'll continue it or set it for trial 3 weeks after that. So again, that's up to 6 weeks to prepare. So Scribner, 310 at 10 o'clock. Stephen Simpson, 20 mm, 1558.
Yes, Your Honor. I have not got an offer yet, but that, like I said, that's on me, not the state. So I wish to talk to my client and get an offer so I can discuss it with him. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Simpson continued to 325 at 9 o'clock. Terrium Smith, 20 mm, 1733.
Yes, Your Honor. I have an offer from the state. I just asked for a continuance so I could just talk to him a little more to make sure he understands everything that's involved. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Smith continued to 325 pretrial. Angelica Sobel, 19 CT 1988.
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask for a continuance. This is a case, I have discussed it with my client. She would like to, she as well is feeling a little uncomfortable because I'm her third lawyer. So she wants to sit down and have a good discussion about it and go over what's going on and her issues. So I would just ask for some more time so I can properly represent my client. So continuance with the waiver, Your Honor.
State.
I would object, Judge, to the 2019 case.
Angelica Sobel is set on March 8th at 10 o'clock, plea/status. If we can't resolve it, we can move it to trial 4 or 5.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tony Stevens, 19 mm 1173.
Yes, Your Honor. I just would ask for a continuance on this. I've talked to my client. I've relayed the plea offer. He's thinking about going to trial. I just want to discuss it with him a little more to make sure he's certain of that fact. So I would just ask for a continuance so I can properly consult with my client.
Also, a 2019 case, we will give him more time to think about it. March 8th at 10 o'clock. Again, that gives him 3 weeks until that court date, and he can have 3 weeks again in addition to that if we set it for trial. So Tony Stevens, 3/8, 10 o'clock.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pershaw, you have 2 cases with Eileen Taylor, 20 mm 1683, 20 mm 1685.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for a continuance. I need more time to review and talk to my client about this case. I do have an offer from the state, so I can also convey the offer to her when I talk to her. And I have on, if I could just ask for some clarification, I have on the 20 mm 1685 count 2 NIN. Can someone tell me what that acronym means?
No information, baby.
Yes, Judge, I think
Okay. I apologize. I'm getting used to the acronym.
Yeah, that's okay. So that means they did not file that charge.
Okay. So I just need some more time to just go over this case with my client, and I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
In both cases?
In both cases, Your Honor.
Any objection?
I'm sorry, Judge, I just need a minute.
Okay.
Judge, Ms. Taylor's in custody. I believe she's still trying to figure out if she had a felony DOT, and it looks like she.
Well, Mr. Pershaw wants a continuance. We can continue this, and then if he's able to work out a plea agreement, he can add it to a 215 docket, whether it's me or not.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's no objection.
All right, Madam Clerk, both cases for Taylor continued to 325, 9 o'clock pretrial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jason Vale, 19 CT 2170.
Yes, Your Honor, the state has completed an offer. I need more time to talk to my client. This is, like I said, a new case to me. I haven't had time. I do see it's from 19. I just would like to go over and make sure that he understands what the plea is. I have had not enough time to properly talk to him, though. So I'd ask for a waiver with a continuance.
All right, Jason Vale is set on the plea docket March 3rd at 10 o'clock. That'll give you more time to speak with your client.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yoslandi Valdez, 20 mm 821.
Yes, Your Honor. This is I would ask for a continuance so I have more time. I also need to get an offer from the state, and like I said, that's on me, not the state, so I can properly convey it to my client and see what they wish to do.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Valdez continued to March 25th, pretrial. Edwin Vasquez, 20 mm 1638.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the offer is diversion. So I would just ask for continuance so I can relay this to my client and he can just come in and sign up for diversion. I believe it's agreeable.
Okay.
So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Edwin Vasquez continued to 325. Shane Vasquez, 20 mm 1787.
Yes, Your Honor. I have yet to get an offer, and that's me, not the estate. I would ask for a continuance just so I can properly review this case and talk to my client and to see what he wants to do. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Shane Vasquez continued to March 25th, pretrial. Jesse Valise, 20 mm 1998.
I haven't received an offer from the state, Your Honor. I was just asking for a continuance so I have a little more time to make sure and review the case and go over with my client. I've talked to him. I believe he's agreeable to the plea offer. I just want to just make sure that he understands everything that he has to do for his plea offer. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Judge, that's fine.
Jesse Valise continued to March 25th, pretrial.
And Your Honor, if he wants to come and take a plea, I can set that up earlier if he wants.
And that's true for any of these folks.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
Yes. Enrique Vilcianer, 20 CT 501.
Yes, Your Honor. I did not get a plea, but like I said, that's me, not the state. I would like to get an offer and discuss it with my client. This is a new case as well, and I haven't had enough time to properly research it and discuss the options with my client. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Vilcianer continued to March 25th, pretrial. And when I said you can add anybody to the plea docket, that's true, but you can't just walk them in. You've got to set them in advance, give everybody notice, including the clerk.
I understand.
And,
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay. Elba Vina, 20 mm 1959.
Yes, I have been in contact with the client. She just wants to go over the plea. She as well is a little uncomfortable that she has a new lawyer. I believe Ashley was speaking to her as well. So I just wanted a continuance so I can properly convey the plea offer with her and so she understands what she's signing up for. So a waiver, a continuance with a waiver, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Vina continued to 325 pretrial. Gary Williams, 20 mm 227.
Yes, Your Honor. I've gotten a plea from the state. I just haven't had enough time to properly relay it to my client. So I would just ask for a continuance so I can go over the plea with him and to see what he wants to do. So continuance with the waiver, Your Honor.
Any objection?
That's fine, Judge.
Gary Williams continued to March 25th, 9 o'clock. Amanda Wilson, 20 mm 1810.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe she's in jail on a felony. The state can correct me if I'm wrong about that. And I do have a plea offer. So I would like to. I would like to see if I would like to talk to her first to see if she's willing to take the plea. The plea looks agreeable, so I'm pretty sure she would. But I would just like a continuance just so I can properly inform my client.
All right. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Wilson continued to 325 pretrial 9 o'clock. Roy Winters, 20 mm 2089.
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask for a continuance. This is another new case that I haven't had time to properly research and talk to the client. So I would ask for a continuance with a waiver.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Winters, continue to pretrial 325.
Mr. Winters is in custody, Mr. Fisher.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Karen Yanez, 20mm 513.
Yes, Your Honor. I have gotten a plea offer from the state. I just would ask for continuance so I can properly relay it to my client and discuss what she has to do. It looks pretty agreeable, but I just want to make sure that she understands and she's agreeable to it. But I would just ask for a continuance so I can properly inform my client. So continuance with a waiver, if you would, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Judge, that's fine.
All right, Yanez, continue to pretrial March 25th at 9 o'clock. Mr. Fisher, I believe that completes your docket this morning.
It does, Your Honor.
But before I lose you, let me talk to you and Ms. Karimi briefly about Tuesday, the 23rd. That's Tuesday next week.
Okay.
We've got VOPs. We've got VOP arraignments in the morning at 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, VOP arraignments at 9 and VOP hearings at 10. And I'm trying to get coverage so that I can be out that morning. And so far, everybody's got their own dockets. It's a difficult thing. I do have Judge Adams, who has indicated that he could cover his docket and mine if I don't have any other options. He's got criminal motions, and I may end up taking him up on that. If I do, it would be nice if I could minimize these dockets for him. And so when I look at these, especially the 10 o'clock docket, Mr. Persher, you have 6. You have 6 out of the 14 that are set for VOP hearing. And I'm not putting you on the spot because I know that you weren't prepared for this. I'm just wondering if you know in advance that these are going to be continuances, if we could do those in advance. And I could sign orders if both sides are agreeable, then I would maybe sign an order continuing them in advance just to minimize the docket for the coverage judge if I end up taking him up on that offer. So that's food for thought. Maybe, I know we're running out of time. It would have to be done today or tomorrow. But if you have time, Mr. Persher, can you look at your clients set for Tuesday the 23rd?
I can look Tuesday the 23rd. And do you want me to just email the state and ask if they're agreeable to the continuance?
That'd be great. Or you guys could just maybe pick up the phone and talk to each other and see if there are any on there that you agree to. And, any that we can do in advance just makes it easier for the other judge.
Okay, is the state attorney, Subsina, is she okay with me calling and discussing this today?
You can always call me. I do have 24s this afternoon. And Judge, we do actually have some cases. I'm not sure if any are with Mr. Fisher, but some are set for actual hearing rather than status on Tuesday.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the notes here. It looks like one might be, and then like I said, it might not be possible. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for the coverage judge, and it might be actually Judge Nicola also is a possibility. But if you guys can talk about that, I would appreciate it. I understand if nothing can be done, that's okay too. I may be here. I may just cancel my plans and stay, or I may have someone cover if I'm able to do that. But I just wanted to talk to both of you about that while I've got you, and whatever you can do would be appreciated.
Okay, I will call Subsina, the state attorney, Subsina, and talk about it. It'll be nice to talk to someone instead of just emailing him all the time.
Yeah,
so
go old school.
Happy to do it.
Yeah. All right, that's it for you, Mr. Fisher. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge.
All right, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
I was going to say bye, but then I realized we have 2 cases left.
Yes, no, you're not going anywhere yet. We do have, I showed 3, but I think we might have found one of them. Have we addressed Oscar Gutierrez, AROSE, 20mm 1564?
Yes, Judge. He was the one who said he was set up for diversion. He was having some money problems.
Oh, okay. So he's done. So, yeah, that leaves us with 2 pro ses. John Earlywine, 20mm 1629. hallway is cleared, so, and also the courtroom is clear, FYI. We have no defendants in the courtroom. So John Earlywine, 20 mm 1629, has not contacted Andrea, has not appeared in the courtroom. So let me review the file for notice.
Oh, Judge, we spoke to him last court date. He was very unhappy with the offer and said he's way too busy to do probation. The court continued it to today, so he was on notice.
He was on notice. I only wonder whether he thought that we would still have his phone number, so I called him last time.
Yes, Judge.
Let me call Andrea real quick. Hi, Andrea. So I am in court. We've got just a couple cases left. These are FTAs, pro se's. I'm thinking about, or we're discussing Earlywine, John Earlywine. Can you look at that file, 20 mm 1629? Yeah, we did send him a notice January 25th. Let's see, the last pretrial was January 14th. Okay, so 11 days later, January 25th, we do tell him to call. He has not called you today or had her phone. Okay, just wanted to check. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. So, yeah, there's no confusion here. There is a notice of telephonic hearing in the court file for today's date, February 18th at 9 o'clock. This directs the defendant, if you do not have an attorney, then please call the court's JA, Andrea, and it gives our phone number, at least 3 days before the court date. And this was mailed to him on January 25th, so that was more than 3 weeks ago. So he was on notice and he's not here. Request from the state.
The state would request a bench warrant.
Bench warrant, $2,000 bond. And the next case is Joshua Begay, 20 CT 1973. There's an order for telephonic hearing in here as well, also mailed to the defendant January 25th, indicating call the JA, the court's JA, at least 3 days before the court date, and he has not done that. So he was also on notice and he's not here.
He, I think, is in custody and leave.
All right, well, in that case, Madam Clerk, we will continue this to March 25th at 9 o'clock pretrial.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
All right, I believe that completes our 9 o'clock docket. Anything further to come before the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you all very much. We are adjourned. I'll see some of you at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, bye-bye.
Judge, will you call me at 2?
Yes, I will call you at 2.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.